Remember, wherever we go, it is the blood of Cain which makes our fate. Farewell, vampire.
Let's cut to the chase. After many hints and inklings that Bloodlines 2 may be coming out of the depths of vampiric torpor for years now, we have finally had our first real glimpse at this game, and how it will look when it hopefully launches in fall of next year. After Paradox's announcement that the earlier pre-order editions of Bloodlines 2 will be refunded, we the fans were also teased that a big announcement was on the horizon in September. September is finally here, and Paradox did deliver, with a post-alpha trailer at PAX, and tidbits of information about the current development of the game, and of course, the developer behind the title. So, let's dive into all the information we now know about Bloodlines 2, and what we can perhaps expect in the future for this title we have waited oh so long for. But first, are you a fan of the world of darkness? Or do you enjoy lore videos which cover grim and gritty subjects from universes unlike our own? Well, I have some good news for you. Here, we cover all sorts of histories and lore which allow you to explore the nightmarish reality which is the world of darkness. Here's a video if you want to get started, and if you enjoy my content, feel free to give this video a like or a comment, as it really helps me in the algorithm. Less sales pitch now, more deep dive into Bloodlines 2. The reveal trailer itself is a very interesting insight into what we may expect. The original Bloodlines game was set in the iconic summertime vista of Los Angeles, allowing you to explore Santa Monica, downtown LA, and a whole host of locations which gave you a snapshot into the vampiric life of your average Californian. Here, however, there is certainly a juxtaposing theme. It's winter, and the mood of the trailer certainly encapsulates the cold landscape of which I can only expect a city like Seattle offers. We are offered a few little story bites which will carry the narrative forwards. Left vague to garner intrigue, we have a few which are presented to us. A power vacuum in the vampiric court, a three-front siege on Seattle, and an elder awoken. The first two plot points are familiar to any fan of Vampire the Masquerade. Vampiric politics are a very potent theme which runs through the franchise. However, in Bloodlines 2, there is some more intricate lore surrounding a faction known as the Pioneers, the first vampiric power base in Seattle, which maintained exclusionary tactics to ensure that the Pioneers held an internal power structure which also pushed out so-called non-natives. It's believed that a lot of the original story beats of Bloodlines 2 are being upheld in some form, so I'm sure we might see figures like Alec Cross and Lou Grand play out during our sessions, but a lot of this is still yet to sort of be confirmed. An Elder Awoken, on the other hand, is a plot point where we have a bit more information to go off of, and it may even intersect with who we will be playing in the game itself. I've scoured through many posts on YouTube and Reddit, gaining people's thoughts on this subject, and there are some very interesting things to unpack here. An Elder, for those who may not know, is a very old vampire which has experienced unlife as a member of the undead for, give or take, 300 years, and will have had ample time to gain power, influence, and an understanding of what it means to be a vampire. From some press releases, Alex Skidmore, the studio design director from the developer helming Bloodlines 2, The Chinese Room, offered some insight into this aspect. The Elder will be the character you play during your time in Bloodlines 2. He went on to state that he doesn't want Bloodlines 2 to play out as a poor homage to the original Bloodlines or a pastiche, and wants it to be its own thing, also pointing out that the team doesn't want to reenact the same story beats of the original, where you take the mantle of a new vampire in a strange new world of the undead. This, in of itself, is a very interesting development, and offers a lot of questions. The original plan from Hardsuit Labs, the former developer behind Bloodlines 2, had you play as a Thin Blood, which is a vampire of very weak blood and high generation, meaning they are not associated with any particular clan, but do have the ability to gain their own unique powers. This seems to be completely discarded in the current iteration of Bloodlines 2, and now you'll be taking upon the role of a character which has experienced a good deal of vampiric unlife, which will hopefully offer some interesting directions for how we will play the game. Waking up from torpor after Cain knows how many years, you will obviously have to navigate the modern world fraught with greater political instability, the Gehenna War, and obviously the new global purges brought upon by the Second Inquisition. I think this is a unique direction that the developers have mapped out, but it does beg the question, how much of the story has been altered to fit the new direction of the main character. The gameplay from the trailer itself has showcased some familiar aspects from the original Bloodline 2's development. Skidmore has said that a new codebase has been used, and new RPG mechanics and systems have been put in place from Hardsuit Labs' original design, yet a lot of the graphical style has seemingly remained consistent to the original's trajectory. A lot of the gameplay we see within the trailer also seems reminiscent of the former, with this showcase putting a lot more emphasis on disciplines, and those Saitama-esque consecutive normal punches of which I've seen a lot of people comment on. However, a large shift in terms of the main character would require some significant alterations with how we interact with the various characters within Seattle. An elder kindred is not something to be sniffed at. In the world of Vampire the Masquerade, age and generation can dictate every aspect of your existence of unlife. Factions such as the Camarilla venerate age intensely, and other organizations within this world of vampires wish to tear down these age-old machinations of such elder kindred to suit a world for younger vampires. Personally, I think this is a very unique direction, perhaps more interesting than taking the role of a very young vampire, of which seemed rather cookie-cutter when we were first introduced to this title all these years ago. There are some aspects of this news which I am cautious about, mainly regarding how this will reflect on character interactions, but I hope that the aspect of embodying an elder will encourage the player of Bloodlines 2 to become more immersed within the world of darkness, and make decisions which are recently uncommon within RPGs, and V5, the 5th edition of Vampire the Masquerade's TTRPG. From what it looks like, you'll be in essence established, but unaware of the modern world around you, and I hope when we see more from the production, this idea will be fleshed out and meet the expectations of many Bloodlines 2 fans. Finally, we can look a little closer at the developer behind Bloodlines 2, the Chinese Room. The developer behind Amnesia, A Machine for Pigs, Everybody's Gone to Rapture, and Dear Esther has brought a lot of very interesting and weirdly entertaining walking simulators. Their previous works have been very atmosphere heavy, and within their behind the scenes video, they seem very enthusiastic about building this world of darkness within Bloodlines 2. Described as neo-noir within their BTS video, which I will put in the description, I believe their touch will provide a lot to explore within Seattle, and their focus on the horror aspect will highlight some of the best aspects of Vampire the Masquerade. However, Bloodlines 2 is an RPG, and the Chinese Room taking over development has led to some skepticism. Whilst the Chinese Room has made many what could be described as gameplay light experiences, it will be interesting to see how the team navigates creating an RPG, and an RPG which is hinted as being unconventional. Alex Skidmore has a great amount of experience within this field, having worked at Lionhead Studios on Fable, and I'm sure there are many on the team which can offer a wealth of experience to this new RPG. But that is yet to be seen, and hopefully we will gain more insight into this as we see more. There are fans of both Bloodlines and the Chinese Room's catalogue of experiences at stake here, and it will be both intriguing yet nerve-wracking to see how they go about appeasing both sides of their fan base. I don't think Bloodlines 2 will be a walking simulator, as I've seen a lot of people say on Twitter, but there will be probably aspects of both TCR's core brand and then Bloodlines, which will both meet in the middle or divert at certain points. This isn't to say that Bloodlines itself can't handle that. The original Bloodlines wasn't just an RPG where you met characters and did things. You explored LA, you uncovered deeper mysteries, ran from a werewolf and disturbed a haunted hotel of a wraith. It is fertile ground to create these experiences, and I have high hopes that TCR can bridge the gap between satiating the Bloodlines fans' appetite for being a badass K-Knight and the fans of intrigue and heavy atmospheric experiences of which TCR fans have come to expect. Lastly, I want to explore my thoughts surrounding the game and what I hope for. Firstly, I want to say that there seems to be a lot of love behind this project. The trailer itself was storyboarded by Outstar, a creator of VTM content and community developer for World of Darkness. The love they have for this franchise is unparalleled, and half of what I do here on Apollo Speaks was down to their enthusiasm for the franchise and their amazing videos, which in part inspired my own. Josh from Strange Adventures is also the community manager for the Chinese Room, and his content and actual plays show a phenomenal love for everything World of Darkness. I've constantly had to use his tutorials for new systems regarding VTM, as I'm still locked into V20 syndrome, but his actual plays and work on Stitch of Fate and many table story features have showcased his passion for the World of Darkness, of which we all love. It feels as if there's a lot of passion behind this project, and are willing to see it succeed. The Chinese Room system itself seems like a very competent developer which is willing to see a title through, that will appease their own ideas for the franchise, but also the fans' desires. With all that said, we still know very little about this game, and even though I've spent a good amount of time gushing about this title, I'm still remaining cautiously optimistic. Bloodlines 2 has been in development hell for a while now, and our expectations have fluctuated with every little piece of information we've had. Many have wanted to see aspects of a third-person camera that we saw within the first Bloodlines, and that is yet to be seen. Much of the gameplay we have seen has been very action-orientated, and whilst it looks pretty good, we're still yet to see all the things which make Bloodlines unique, i.e. character creation and the dialogue which offers unique insights into how each clan navigates character interactions. But for that, we may have to wait a bit longer. We know a lot more than what we did a month ago, and a whole lot more than what we did a few years ago. Fall 2024 is when Bloodlines 2 is expected to release, and I'm happy with what we've seen so far. Many will not be satiated, and others may in fact be angered by the little news we've had right now, and I feel that is valid, especially for those who were promised a particular experience from one studio for it to experience alterations from another. This is probably the reason for the refunds, and I am fully aware now that what we will see going forwards will deviate from what we saw a year ago. For many who have waited, it has been a tumultuous time, but I love this franchise and I really want to see it succeed. I hope we get to see more news from the team at TCR and Paradox, and I'll make sure to inform you about every update which comes out. But until then, I wish you all a very good evening, and if you want to delve deeper into the world of darkness, feel free to browse my catalogue of videos here at Apollo Speaks. So, stay safe, but remember, do not wander naively into the night.